We go out and bless and take care of people. And everything that we do, it's fun to share the stories because they all started with a small moment, small event. Last year we had over 7,000 volunteers serve with us in the city of Denver. For Christmas last year during the holiday season, we took care of 6,000 kids in the city. And everything for us is that audacious dream. We always start by seeing a need, and then we want to meet the need. One of our mottos and mantras is that see a need, meet a need. We don't sit down and talk about do we have the budget to do it, do we have the staff or the manpower. We always, and my staff knows this, like I always say yes, and then an organization will leave, and I'm like, how are we going to do this? And we pull our team together, and we just take on things that are so unrealistic. This year we're in the process of merging with an organization called Santa's Elves. They're rolling all of their programs into the Dream Center. They took care of over 2,000 kids last year, so I figured let's just round it up. And so our goal this year is to take care of 10,000 kids in the city of Denver. That budget alone for that is over $400,000. Our starting budget to make that happen is zero. And so we're going to take on 10,000 kids. We've got partnerships with Denver Housing, Denver Parks and Rec, the mayor's office, and it's just fun collaboration. We got a call just a couple weeks ago and hanging out with Mayor Hancock. We're going to do haircuts in 2 weeks, which, Luke, where are you at? I'm going to talk to you about that. So that's your first project. August 19th, we're cutting 120 kids' hair so they can go back to school on Monday, ready for school with fresh haircuts. So we've got barbershops lined up, and we just pull people together. The holiday season for us is probably one of the funnest times to serve because we know that more people go out and buy and overspend and realize how much they have, but also there's a lot of people that realize what they don't have, and we try to collaborate those moments, and we do multiple events. One of those is called Christmas to Remember. We get guys out of the facilities. It is one of the most remarkable times to see dads connect with their kids, families restored to where instead of children seeing their dads behind bars or in a facility and as an inmate, they get to see their dad. We rent Mile High Station, throw one heck of a party, bring in a Santa Claus who I think he really is the real Santa. I mean, everything about him, the white beard, and it's like 24/7. When he shows up, like it's summertime, he's wearing red shorts with his rosy cheeks and his white beard. But we bring in like food. We get Denver Bronco players. So kids show up, and now they see their dad while they're meeting Bronco players having a great meal. And of course, they get presents at the end. It's amazing. And then it evolved to where, and last story for you, we probably 8 years ago, we're wrapping up some Christmas stuff, and Santa was with us. Our very first actually Christmas to Remember event was in Fox before Caroline was even there. Again, being a dad of kids, I know how valuable and how precious that is to spend Christmas morning with my boys. And so I asked the director that was there at that time, can we do some kind of Christmas for families and kids to be with their dads? And so we used the second floor of the correctional facility. We had about 7 to 8 guys come up and maybe 20 or 30 family members. But I remember watching these dads just hold their kids loving on their dads. They ate Costco lasagna, gave some Christmas presents, and don't know if this is the right way to do, but I found a Santa Claus on Craigslist. No background checks, no anything, but he showed up. But we used him, and it's worked out. There's no safety protocol in that all. I'm drifting. I was going to say something off color, but I'm a pastor. Don't go there. But we did that first event, and every year it's grown from those 7 kids to now over 300 or 400 show up at our event. But 8 years ago, we did one of those, and Santa pulled me aside. He's like, Pastor B, like, I know it sounds weird, but I'm actually free on Christmas. I'm like, that is weird when Santa tells you he's free on Christmas. And so we had a few extra presents. We had 3 guys that I know had gone back to prison. So we wanted to go out and take care of those families. So we went out Christmas morning, took my wife, my kids, and about 10 people with us. We knocked on doors, and the moms knew we were coming, but the kids didn't. And when you open a door and there's nothing inside, no decorations, no presents, and these kids will open the door, and there's Santa Claus with a bag of presents. Unbelievable moment, right? Kids screaming, moms crying, right? We're all just like in hugs and tears, and that moment became so powerful. The next year came around, and people started asking me early, like, Pastor, are you going out on Christmas morning again? I'm thinking, like, I wasn't planning on it. It's Christmas, but yeah, let's do it. And so every year's grown. The last couple of years, we try to cut off the volunteer base, but we had last year 260 volunteers on Christmas Day give up their Christmas morning, and we took care of over 2,500 kids in the city on Christmas morning. But one of my favorite stories, one of my favorite stories, how many years, was that 5 years ago? So 5 years ago, almost 6 years ago now. We were out in Lincoln Projects. Now they've torn down that part of South Lincoln. But we were knocking on doors. And Christmas morning is sort of fun because there's not a ton of organization. It's just bags of presents, and you're singing songs, and all of our volunteers dress up like it's like a Disney parade or something. And we're in the housing projects, and we're knocking on doors and just giving away presents to anybody we can. And there was 2 little kids out front of one of the doors. And my wife saw them, went over and asked them if they wanted to grab some toys. I think it was some Matchbox cars, nothing fancy. And was it DeMarco? De Niro, and he had some tears in his eyes, and it was that Christmas morning, and he picked out some presents. I came over and got to meet Latasha's kids, but Latasha wasn't downstairs with them, and so I just grabbed a piece of wrapping paper. And this is what we love, because we always talk about live life interrupted, right? There's so often that we have great plans. Sorry, Brian, I knew you were going to write that one down. He was done writing. That's his last nugget. But that's one of our core values, right? Because anybody you meet, like the number one thing we hear in life anymore, when you walk up to somebody, how are you doing? Busy, right? I'm busy, I'm tired, like we just don't have enough time, and we're just overbooked. And it's not bad things, it's just probably a plethora of good things. And so in that moment, we tell people, like, live life interrupted. And so I ripped off a piece of wrapping paper. I said they call me Pastor B. Here's my cell number. Tell your mama if she needs something to give me a call. So the next morning, Latasha saw that wrapping paper by her bed, and they were, 2 days away from being evicted, and having, at that point, 8 kids. As a single mom. And they were in a program, but the program had ended. They weren't willing to extend it, and they told her, you got to pack your stuff. And even though you're homeless, you got to take your 8 kids and go somewhere. And so she called, and it was that point of like, I don't know what to do. We've never met. My kids put your number by the side of my bed, and so I need help. And so I said, hang on, we're coming down. And we came, and I remember sitting in Latasha's apartment with kids and just trying to figure stuff out. And I'd like to tell you that we had this amazing answer, and it was easy. But it was 7 months of Latasha and her kids being homeless because vouchers had run out. There's not a lot of places that you send a mom with 8 kids to get housing. And there were times that we had to break the kids apart and put them in different places. We had people open up their basements, their rooms, motels, whatever we could, until finally Latasha got housing. And now she's a part of the Dream Center. Her kids are phenomenal, and she's a powerful story. Do you want to say anything? I normally put her on the spot, but she's not feeling too well tonight, so I told her I would make her speak tonight. But before you leave, if you want to talk about resiliency and success and a rescue, rebuild, and restore, when Latasha speaks and when she serves, it is amazing, and what a blessing. And so there's so many more stories, but we love that we get to do community barbecues, that we get to dream big in our city and find ways to volunteer, to serve, to plug in. I mean, our hearts, that's who we are and what we believe in, that we get to rescue people, that we get to rebuild lives, and ultimately we get to restore dreams.